Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Spiritual Light. I'm Munir Gariba, in for Stevan Bertozzo. Stevan is on holidays with his family. And today we have here in the studio with us our dear Elsa Rossi, our dear sister Silvia Gibbons, and our dear Charles Kempf. So hello, Elsa.
Hello, Munir. Hello, friends. Hello, Charles. Hello, Silvia. Hello, angels. We are here once again with this wonderful topic. Oh my God, forgiveness. And Jesus came to teach us forgiveness.
Yes, today the topic is forgive not seven, but 70 times seven. The challenge of true forgiveness. So, hello, Silvia.
Hi, hello. Hello, good evening, everyone. Nice to be with you again. And it's very, very nice to see Charles and you, Munir, and Elsa. It's a very interesting theme, and I think it's very appropriate for the times we are living. Um, because forgiving is something very important, especially within the perspective that we are going to talk about, within the teachings of the Bible, the Gospels, how forgiveness, what exactly means, which is very, very important. So it's nice to be with you all.
Thank you. It's nice to be with you as well, Silvia. Hello, Charles.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Very happy again, indeed, to be here together again today and to talk about this topic, which is indeed quite challenging, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. So, it's a great honor to be here in the studio with you people and to talk about this special word, forgiveness. It seems to be something straight away. You either forgive or you don't. But we will be discussing the different aspects of forgiveness and the benefits of it, and how to achieve, forgiveness and be somehow immune to the situation around us. Before we start, I just want to give a definition from the Latin word, which, in English would be pardoning. So, perdonare in Latin, it means, it means to give. The prefix means in addition to give something extra, something more. And donare means to donate, to give. So, to give something more, something extra, something beyond what is expected, a little bit more. I think the essence of forgiveness, is in the definition, the Latin definition of the words. So, Elsa, do you agree with that? What, in your view, is you know your
Yes.
perception of forgiveness?
It's something, it's not easy forgive. It's a time of practice every day, accustomed to do it, and understand why we should forgive. Because I think I myself, as I see Jesus as a great psychologist, and I use this book in the university, in my master degree, and, and people think that I was crazy because I said, no, Jesus is a psychologist. No, 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 no. Jesus belongs to the church. I said, no, Jesus is a psychologist. If we follow his insights, teachings, we will be a better person. We will be happy. We won't carry in our shoulders heavy clusters, and forgiveness cleans our inverted commas sins, because we have to forgive ourselves, forgiving others, and never judge. The two things for me, forgiveness and never judge, are the good way to be a happy person. And it's not easy, but it's the best way. The remedy is bitter, but it's good one for cure our ego, our selfishness, our pride, and we can evolve a better, to be a better person when we forgive others. Otherwise, We will be gladiating, fighting every day within our community and with ourselves as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Silvia, why should we forgive other people?
I think that's, forgiveness. It's a very complex thing because um, forgiveness in reality is not for the other person; it's for ourselves. When we forgive and we are able to really let go, um, we clear from ourselves any negative feelings because the other person, whatever they've done, sometimes a person may be upset, something is happening, they are under a lot of stress, and they do something or say something that can be offensive or can hurt us. And if someone that, we know well, it's a person that, you value, it's, you can stand back a bit and think, maybe they're under stress or whatever. But sometimes it happens that people can be quite cruel. They can make comments that can be hurtful. So whatever it is, whatever that person does is their responsibility. They have to answer for it. We are in the situation that we were offended. It might have been something that person said and we felt bad about it because we know we do, or we guilty of that. Or if not, we know that we didn't deserve that comment or what that person did. So it's very hard for us because I think primarily what is hurt is our pride. And we feel very hurt about something because our pride has been hurt. But if we are able to just raise above that and see the other person's, why they did what they did, and even if there is no reason, you think, I'm going to let go of it. It's like this person is giving you a gift and it's up to you to accept or not. Because when we do something, when we are the person who is offending, that will be our responsibility. It will be within us. I think sometimes, if we think about many situations throughout our lives that people did something to us that hurt us, I think we almost cannot remember that. But when we are the ones who did it, we always remember. When I was rude to someone for whatever reason they provoked me or whatever, I still remember the times that I was rude, that I said something that was unkind. And I think mostly, I think most of us, we don't remember the things that people did, and sometimes if you do, it's forget about it. But the things that we do, we are responsible for, and we think about it. So forgiveness, it's for our own well-being, because when we keep anger, desire for vengeance, or you get that feeling within you that you want that other person to suffer. All this brings energies within our body. It mixes with a physical body and the hormones and everything, and we bring it to our own bodies, sickness, anger, and anger and all these things, all these negative things make our body suffer. And then we have pains, or eventually if we don't do anything about it, and we always keeping this, we will have serious illnesses. So if we are able to say, look, my pride was hurt, but I'm not my pride. And maybe that person, whatever it is, they had a reason for doing that. So I'm not going to keep this. I'm going to give the gift back to them. And I know this is very, very, very difficult. I think I said that before when I was a teenager and I would come home from school and, whatever, or friends, and I would say to my mother, oh, she was very nice to me. I'm never going to talk to her again. That girl, she did this, that. And my mom would say, but maybe she wasn't very happy. Maybe something happened to her. You have to have patience because, you never know what is going on with her. She's sad. Something happened. And I used to get so mad, so mad. And I remember once telling my mother, you never see my point of view. You always see the other person's point of view. But now, now that I'm older than my mother was, I think twice as old as my mother was then, I can see how wise it was because, people do things at a certain time and, you don't have to think about it, and they have their reasons and we have ours. So I think the main worry is to think, I am going to do my very, very best never to hurt anyone. And if I do that, I will always try to say I'm sorry and ask for their forgiveness, because I think this is very, very important. Because the hurt that we cause are the ones that cause us harm. And each one is responsible for what they do. So, it's a very complex thing, but it's a very beautiful thing, because when you forgive as well, it's like you're carrying this bag of stones in your back and you just put the bag out. I don't want to carry this anymore, anger and hatred and jealousy and desire for vengeance can be very detrimental for ourselves, I think. So,
Yeah,
I repeat myself a lot, sorry.
no problem. Very, very nice, Silvia. Some say that forgiveness is the most powerful forces driving our inner transformation or our progress as a spirit, because those who forgive, they free themselves, they lighten their burdens, as you said, they make life easier and remove their minds from the past, an attachment that only holds us back. We basically attach ourselves to a situation in the past when we don't forgive, and then we can move forward. Charles, your considerations on the subject on forgiveness?
I hope you hear me well.
Yeah.
Yes, so Silvia and Elsa told already a lot of things, very important things. And it's interesting because it's really a point where the teaching of Jesus, as they are written in the Gospel, had quite some difficulty to be understood. And now, with the Spiritist body of knowledge and the help of the spirits, Kardec managed to take the essence of these moral teachings that Jesus gave and to make them better understandable with the words of not today, but the words of 150 years ago or 160 years ago now, when he wrote those books. And basically what Jesus said is, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. And this is, we talked a lot about that already. It's a law of action and reaction. If you are not merciful, if you are harsh or severe or whatever with the persons, the experience shows that a lot of times we are also treated as such as we treat the others. So this we can see already in our current lives without needing to have communications or connection with the spiritual world. We can see it immediately. And then there is another action, the Matthew 6:14, where Jesus said, "For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. So this is typically something which is difficult to understand. Does God or Father forgive? Of course not. He doesn't need to forgive. It's of no essence for him. It remembers me the Chico Xavier when someone made something which was not very pleasant for him. And then he came, oh, Chico, please forgive me. I made something wrong. I will never start again, etc., etc. And Chico answered, why should I forgive? Because I have not been offended. So, not being offended, I don't have to forgive. And so, do you think God can be offended? He knows us much better than we know ourselves. No? So, he will not be neither surprised nor offended. So, God will not forgive. But forgiveness is of, I mean, it's in the essence of God. So, it's of no object for him. Now, the good thing is to understand it in the spiritual point of view. When we really make something wrong and we don't ask for forgiveness, sooner or later we will go back to the spiritual world, isn't it? Or we will die. Our body will die, but our spirit does not die, never. So the question is, what happens then? The conscience, this one we take with us. We take no money, no house, not a single atom of our physical body comes with us back to the spiritual world. But our conscience comes with it. Yeah? And this is law of nature. So when we have a bad conscience, we come back in the spiritual world. And by the way, you have a lot of people with NDEs right now, or people, how to say, spirits communicating what happened when they passed away. They said, I saw like a movie of all my past. So all this memory which got forgotten, which got a little bit hidden in our conscience, this comes back when we are in the spiritual world, where there is not this filter, this material filter of the brain and so on. So all these things, even the smallest, most tiny one, come back to us. So what happens at the end? When Jesus said, your Father will not forgive you, it's not God that will not forgive us. It's simply the laws of nature that God has made that are the same for everyone will at the end catch us back. We cannot escape from the laws of nature. And this film, this memory of what we have done will come back to us, and it will be ourselves. We will judge ourselves in the spiritual world. There will not be Peter or Paul or whoever saying, what did you do? You go to right, you go to left. Nothing of this. We will judge ourselves, and we will automatically go to the right or the left, depending on the result of this self-judgment. Okay? So this is very important to know, because this motivates us. When we know this, when we know that we have forgiven, our conscience has forgiven, the knowing that it will anyhow come back later on, we think different. We think, okay, so let's try to make it clear as soon as possible in order to avoid having this boomerang coming back to me at a later time when it may be even a little bit late to do something about it, you know? And this is also exactly why in the same section gathered by Kardec, Jesus said, we should first go and forgive and ask for forgiveness when we have committed an offense. We should reconciliate with our brothers, even with our enemies, the earliest, the best, because if we wait, maybe we have no opportunity to do it anymore in this life. So it's a luggage that we take for our next life, you know. So, okay, this guy has offended me. I will go look in his eyes and say, you are forgiven. Or when I offended someone, which is a most difficult situation, look, really I did that, but I didn't want to do that. So the other person may forgive you or not, depending on his elevation, But the best thing is to clean all these offenses when we still are able to do it. And this is exactly what Silvia said. It shall become automatic in us because we know at the end it will come back. And it's no need to go to the church to pray, to give a gift to the church, whatever, if you did not reconcile before with your brother. And Jesus is saying exactly the same. We should reconcile with our adversaries, with our enemies, not to bring these things, at least making our possible to go in this way. We should also look first the beam which is in our eye before looking to the speck in the eye of the others, because that's also a reaction, psychologically very well explained, this so-called projection. When we see defect in someone, it's most of the time a defect that we want to hide from ourselves. So all these are part of the same, I would say, package, which is summarized in the teaching of Jesus when he said, blessed are the merciful. Voilà.
Wonderful, wonderful, Charles. Before we carry on, I just want to say hello to Sila, to Lily, Rielia, Mayra Natera, and also Rita de Cassia Fernandez. Thanks for your comments, for saying hello. Thanks for being here with us. You mentioned
there are
something.
beautiful comments, Muniz, no?
I'm
There
sorry?
are two wonderful comments there. Rita and the other that I read before, the comments. The Rita comments, the beautiful.
Oh, yes. Yes. Let me just show here the comment by Mayra. It is very hard to forgive. You know, by the ego, but it is the best for heal.
Exactly. I mean, if it would be easy, we would have done it already, isn't it?
Yeah.
So evolution requires effort. And this effort, the motivation to make this effort comes by knowing these laws of nature, that all this passive stuff will come back to us. So let's go and compensate it as soon as we can. So this motivates to do this effort. So, sometimes you are deceived by a person that you were not expecting something is then doing something and you are deeply disappointed and so on. Okay, so what? Now you know who that person is. You know more or less what this person is still capable to do. You have been surprised. You did not expect that from that person. But it's okay. That person is still capable to do those things. So, as Silvia told it very clearly, why to stay with anger and so on? Put us adrenaline in ourselves. Keeping this rancor, and because it turns us ill. So let's clean it and let's forgive that person.
And I think also, thinking about it, the question of forgiveness is not that is something high, is important of us, but it's incredible that sometimes when people are able to forgive becomes news. I remember many years ago when there was a lot of troubles in Northern Ireland. There was a bomb that were put in a place, and this man was there with his daughter. She was a nurse, I think, and part of the wall fell and killed her. And during all the terrible times, there were terrible times, and And the father came and said he forgave them. And it was news, because people, how can you forgive? She killed her daughter. Da, 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 da. And he said, my daughter didn't deserve to die like that. But if I hate them, I'll become like they are. And, so it was very difficult, but that's how it is. If someone has already done something terrible, if you do exactly the same, you have, be like that. I think also, it's not a question that if someone does something, hurt you and constantly do things that are negative, forgiveness does not mean that we do defend ourselves. The fact that it is the golden rule of Christianity, really, it does not mean that we cannot defend ourselves, because it's not our role as well to be, stand there and allow people to treat you any other way they desire. We need to defend ourselves, and it's part of our own making that, God has given us the ability and of defending ourselves, of self-preservation. So I think this has to be very balanced, and I think one of the main things for me in this is that we also need forgiveness. And I think sometimes, especially when we're very angry because somebody did something that hurt us, we never think that, but we also need forgiveness. We also do things that can be hurtful. And I think the lesson from the gospel about the woman, was caught in adultery, and how they are constantly challenging Jesus to see what he was going to say, because they wanted to destroy him. And how he said, oh, but the law says she has to be stoned to death. And they were and what do you say? But the law says that. And what do you say? And Jesus very calmly said, the one among you have no sin, be the first one to stone her. And everyone left. Not a single person stayed, because what he did, he went back to question your own mind, your own soul, and everybody noticed that they also had done things wrong that deserves forgiveness. And I think this is one of the most important lessons, that we also need forgiveness. As human beings, we fail many times, and we do things that maybe even without thinking, we may hurt and offend other people. So I think forgiveness has that part as well. But, you talked about Chico, and I remember a story I read about Chico many years ago, that this lady used to go there, talk to him and everything. And one day she said, oh, I came here the other day and you said that I should forgive my husband. And I was reading, and you told me to read the Gospels. So I did read the Gospel. And then Jesus said, you forgive 70 times 7. So she came, she said, oh, you told me that. And I've already forgiven my husband 497 times. And what do I do now? Because she actually calculated the 70 times 7. And, it was 490 or something, I can't remember exactly. And said, what do I do now? Because I've already did the 70 times 7. And then she said, oh, Emmanuel was telling me to tell you that this is infinite. It's 70 times 7, but 70 times 7, 70 times 7. And I find it interesting, this story, because like this lady, sometimes we are so specific. How many times do I forgive, And we can actually calculate the number of times. But what Jesus said, there is no number of times, it's infinite. You forgive them, you let go. But I think, like I said before, just to emphasize the point, it does not mean that you have to be there being humiliated or being hurt or being deceived all the time. Forgiveness does not mean that you don't defend yourself as well. You don't keep the anger, desire for vengeance, and because it harms us, but you can also say enough. And you can, maybe if someone who constantly does that, you can move away from them. I don't know what Elsa or Charles think about that.
I have a quotation here, Silvia, that more or less is like what you're saying. And one of the books in value is, I can't remember exactly the one it is, he said, resentment, when you not forgive you because you have a resentment. Resentment is a poison we take hoping it will harm the other person. And when we forgive, we have the freedom and let the other people go. And we are the one, as you said in the beginning, we are the one that receive the benefit when we forgive others. Forgiving others means that we are forgiving ourselves as well. Because if we are forgiving ourselves means that I want to be a better person. I want to be happy. So, in forgiveness, what the forgiveness does for our souls? Heal emotional wounds, brings spiritual lightness, open the doors to reconciliation and peace that you are. Connects us more closely to Jesus' example of love. And to forgive is to be superior to the offense. When we forgive, because we have the habit to love, to have compassion, to have empathy, everything is related to the moral teachings of Jesus towards our own heart. If you do a little piece of forgiveness every day, at the end of the 1 month, a year, you'll be a habit. You forgive more than you think. And let the others, that's what they want to do. As here Rita wrote. But when people hurt our hearts, sometimes they do not think about it. And also, they do not care. Doesn't matter, Rita. If our heart is injured and we forgive others, we don't judge because the other person could be very nervous with something, lost their jobs, have a divorce, or so many things. They have to find someone to hit because they can relieve their pains. Let them go and let your heart be in peace. Doesn't matter. Sometimes there are days working, even in the middle of Spiritism, we are really, really, really suffer. We suffer a lot. But we pray we can forgive others. They don't know what they are doing. Jesus told us the way to forgive. Let them go. Pray for them. Pray for the ones in need. Because resentment is a poison that we take, hoping the others will be hurt. But no, we cannot hurt ourselves, not hurt the others as well. Yeah? These are the lists of Jesus. My wonderful psychologist, teacher, doctor, everything Jesus is for me. Okay? That one is. I don't know,
Yeah.
Charles, I was talking, but it was at the time of a Charles to talk. It might as well said so beautiful things here.
And also, Hita said it's hard to forgive if it is a process. It is a process. Every single day, we have to ask Jesus for this process and to keep our hearts with love.
Wonderful.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it is a process. Forgiveness, we manage to achieve that through a process, not from one day to the following one, to the next. Sorry, Charles.
It has to come naturally, spontaneously, willingly, and this of course takes time. Rita told some example when somebody hurts heavily or hurt. Okay, this person is still capable to do that. She did it without willing. Fine, it gives her some attenuation circumstances, no? But this person did it willingly. Okay, this person is still capable to do such things, So that's it. Am I also like this? no, I think I would not be capable to do something like this. I think I would not. We have to be sure. So, okay, so I passed through this already. Maybe I suffer this because I made some other people suffer that in the past. This can also be so-called expiation or law of action and reaction. But today I understood, and I will not, never, ever do such things again to anybody, And that is then the true and the forgiveness. Because sometimes, when you read that, you have people who are willingly doing something wrong, okay? Or even without knowing doing something wrong. Shall we then just say, okay, I forgive this person and stay like this? Or shall I, not seeing the beam and the speck, at least go to this person and tell her face to face, not going on YouTube and posting that's all the world can see. That's also not the thing. No, face to face, between four eyes, as we tell in French. Go and talk. Try to explain and understand. You did that, and this had that and that consequence, and okay, the person will accept or will not accept. You cannot force anything, but at least because when somebody is wrong, you have to try to help this person. And how can you help this person? Staying quiet, okay, I forgive, and not helping this person to understand this person made something wrong. So that's also one form of charity, And there are even other cases which are treated also in this section of the Gospel according to Spiritism. It's chapter 10, which is very interesting. For instance, are there cases where you have to notify wider that some person has imperfections? And the answer of the Spirit is clearly yes, there are cases. For instance, when somebody is mistreating children, you have and say it, because if you don't say anything, you can have 10, 20, 100 children being mistreated. So it's better to prevent, helping also the person mistreating children, even to be caught or put in prison or whatsoever. It can go up to that, because the less mistreatment of children this person does, it will also be less things to repair for the same person. So it's again a kind of a mutual interest for doing that. And we shall always think about the most number of people before the collectivity, before thinking to a particular individual. So yes, there are cases where it's even, let's say, a good understand form of charity to how do you tell that, denunciar in English, Silvia?
Denunciate?
Denunciate, yes. To denunciate somebody which is hurting a lot of people, because otherwise it will never stop, So we want to stop the wars. Okay, let's elevate a little bit more our voices against the war, showing all these terrible things which are happening. Okay, we can forgive the people who promoted the war, but it's not a reason staying quiet and leaving the wars being done and repeated and repeated and repeated. We have to react, thinking about not our interest, but the interest of the collectivity. That's another very important aspect of this question.
Yeah, not condoling with the mistake. It is an obligation for us in this case too. But there are ways of doing it, yes, Charles. And in the gospel we find, a charitable way of, doing it in the correct way.
People, they have a kind of a pleasure of finger pointing, That's totally wrong,
Yeah.
It's interesting in question 886 of the Spirit's book, it talks about charity and love of neighbors. Kardec asked, the spirits, what is the true meaning of the word charity as employed by Jesus? And the answer from the spirits was benevolence for everyone, indulgence for the imperfection of others, and forgiveness of injuries. And then in another question, he says, what Jesus meant to love your enemies means to forgive them, to return good for evil. By doing so, you become their superior. By vengeance, you place yourself beneath them. And, in the Gospels where it says, forgive one's enemies, to ask forgiveness for oneself, to forgive one's friends, to give proof of your friendship, to be able to forgive offenses is to show yourself better than you were. So in every time, the question of forgiveness is always something that it's better for us, because it clears us of any bad feelings and negativity that can make us ill. Also, sometimes I think it was Rita. She made a point that people, they may hurt you and they don't care, and sometimes they don't, and we keep thinking, oh my God, that person did. You keep thinking about them all the time, which is completely silly, because if that person does not, if you forgive them, you can actually let them go, and they are not important. Then you concentrate on the people who do like you, who do not deceive you or is bad. So sorry.
It's breaking as well the circle of hatred and resentment.
Exactly.
You
Yes.
doing that, you are preventing things for many incarnations to come. Instead,
Oh yes. Yeah.
with more
It's
fuel in the fire, you can break it and stop again. Stop everything and start again one new moment. So that is important to stop this, to do this circle of love instead of circle of hatred.
Yeah, we have no power to control what people say and do. The only power we have is the impact of what people say and do in us. So to take that as an offense is a decision that we can make, but we can control. And also indulgence is important, because the same way we make mistakes, other people do. And if we are going to get hurt every time someone makes a mistake, and we feel that we are hurt by what they do, and it's going to be terrible. That's why it's so important to forgive. And I want to put a question for us here to discuss: is forgiving the same as forgetting?
It's also a good question. I wanted to talk about it, by the way.
Yeah, good. Let's start with you, Charles.
Yes. Personally, I'm with a lot of imperfections. So I think I'm reasonably capable to forgive, but I'm not yet capable to forget. And okay, I admire the people who can forget the things and so on, but I'm not yet at that point, because as I told before, I remember, okay, no, I know who is this person. No, I know what this person is capable of doing and whatsoever, and also forget about negative experiences. How do you build positive experiences? When you forget systematically the negative experiences, when you did something wrong, you forgot it, you may do it again. If you don't forget it, it will help us. Last time I did that, it was wrong, so I will not do it again. It helps you. So this is the way. Maybe there is several meanings of forgetting, but in my understanding of forgetting, I'm not yet capable to forget. This does not mean that when somebody offended you, that you continue and continue and continue thinking, yeah, this one offended me, this one, yes, this or that one or whatever. No, that's not the thing. When you are forgiven, you are forgiven. Okay, but once you know what a person is capable of doing, you You know, it's also a question. The next time this person is doing something to you, you will even react better towards it, you know, because okay, it's the second time, but I know it already, so fine, no, I will not offend myself or whatever. So that's a little bit my, how to say, position about it. So, but I'm very curious to listen also to Elsa and to Silvia about it.
Well, I think it's a different process, isn't it? Because um, the act of forgiveness is something that requires you to move something inside you and to decide, look, that was bad. I feel really hurt, but I will let that go. I will, forgive that person and don't take to heart. But we remember, because this is just a mental part of it, it's almost like you cannot avoid it. But I think in a sense that the more we do this, I think the more and more that person becomes distant, and eventually we might not forget it completely, but that the first impact of it will be diluted, be diluted. You won't feel the same. And I think, from the moment I said, that, yeah, it was not bad, I don't like that, but I'm not going to take to heart this. I'm going to let go of it. We feel better, and eventually we will forget, but it doesn't happen automatically, I don't think. I don't know what Elsa thinks.
The same thing, Silvia. Two different, forgive and forget. Some people say, I can forgive him, but I'll never forget what they have done for me. That's what's the point. So we have really to forgive, forget, and let it go. Otherwise, we carry on, our shoulders heavy, our minds heavy, our thoughts heavy. We go to sleep in our pillow and heavy. We have to forgive. The freedom of forgiveness is a blessing. Let it go. Never judge. We never know what's going on in the other person. If I can walk a mile and I walk only 100 meters, it's not good because I can't do more. But other person that's supposed to walk 100 meters, go 1 mile, is doing more than his capacity. Try to be a better person. We try to be a better person every day. And I have this wonderful quote of Mark Twain. I think everybody knows that forgiveness is the perfume that the violet leaves on the hill that crushes it. People are beating us. Let it go. Of course, we not say let crucify us. We have to work. We have to be healed. We have to carry on with good health. So, but we can really talk with someone. Oh, stay in silence and pray, and let the other people do what they are doing. And one day, one moment, they will realize what they are doing, and we carry on our duty, our tasks beautifully inside the families, outside the families, in our jobs, our spiritual center. That is the best thing to do. Forgiveness is a blessing for the one that does this wonderful virtue.
Yes, actually, there is a quotation here. My God, I have lots of quotations here from Chico Xavier, that he says, unless we are willing to forgive one another, we cannot bear the weight of our tribulations. So if every time someone hurts you, you keep it, come a point that you won't be able to hold it anymore. And I think this is and it's interesting because it says that if we are willing to forgive one another, otherwise we won't be able to bear the weight of our tribulations. And life is already so difficult. We have to deal with so many things, and keeping this is just something that we really don't need to, because someone did something on purpose. they don't deserve a friendship, they don't deserve our love, and the times we think about them. And if someone that is you like, and you can always, I mean, Jesus said himself, go and talk to the person, themselves, say, look, you hurt me, your attitude, what you did, I felt very, very hurt about that. So the person may say, I'm sorry, and if they don't,
Let them go.
that's
Let it
not,
go. Let it go.
yeah, that,
That's the music,
Yeah,
huh?
I
Let it
think that's
go. Let it
I think that not
go.
to forget is important part of the process,
Yes.
because it stays as a lesson. The problem is every time I remember that, what do I feel? Do I feel exactly how I felt, humiliated, or whatever when that happened, or have I overcome that and truly forgiven the offender, the person who I felt offended me? So he may stay as a lesson and say, "Oh, I got so offended at the time, but I've gone over that now. Things are." So it is a learning process to forgive. It's not, as I said before, something that will happen overnight. And these lessons are important that we don't forget them. Otherwise, as Charles said, we may, feel offended by the same situation again, or offend someone as well, because we can be the offender. So it stays as a lesson.
I think it's important to have it as a lesson, because if we feel hurt, we don't want to hurt anybody else. I think in that sense, we needed to, yes, I felt really bad what that person did, so I will never try do that to anybody else. That's
To
an
do unto
important part.
others, yeah.
But when
Or
is
don't
is
do.
is starting being natural in ourselves, you don't even notice that someone is hurting you when you use normally you forgive so much. I think that is natural, that you don't, as Charlie said before, I don't feel the offense. I don't need to forgive because I'm not feel offended. Yeah?
Exactly.
As the Mahatma Gandhi said,
So I think there is an important aspect is when you suffer something negative, you can build some intelligence around it. You can forgive, of course, that's one thing, but then you can build an intelligence around it. For instance, I have been once manipulated, and some person really, how to say, he suffered a lot with that.
bullying.
But then, okay, it was difficult, and okay, I managed with some time to forgive. But then I studied how did this person do that, and then what are the techniques used? Where did I not see it early enough? And all this is helping you to understand better all these processes and this mechanism. And today, I mean, someone trying to manipulate again, I mean, very soon there are some red flags coming up, and it's a kind also. I will not say protection, but you can even prevent. And then when someone is trying to manipulate you, you look him in the eyes, and hey, where are you going to? What's your intention here? And then, depending on the person, some get very exploding, violent, and so on, and some others. Okay, this one I will not try again, But it's like this. I mean, we suffer a lot when we don't know the things. That's why when you tell Jesus is suffering, or Jesus is sad, or God is sad, oh, they know us much better than ourselves. They know what we are. They can anticipate what we will do, according to our level of elevation. So they are never sad, or of course they will have this huge compassion to find the best way to make us understand and to help us to become a better person. That will be their reaction, but no sadness. This does not exist with such level of spirits.
Yeah. Okay. Stevan is with us here. Hello, Stevan.
Stevan.
I hope you enjoy your holidays. Thanks for joining us. Good. Let's go to our announcements because we are running out of time. And before we do, let me just put the announcement here. So we have the Ernesto Bozano series 2025. And the next talk will be on Sunday, the 3rd of August, 7 p.m. UK time. Premonitory Phenomena by Carolina Correa. All invited to be with us. Also, we have the in September understanding your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. This is spiritually and psychologically. So this is the International Congress Joanna de Angelis. For those who want to further information, you have the QR code here and also the link. The Spiritist Center for Peace holds studies, online study on Wednesday, 12 noon, the book Heaven and Hell and the Gospel According to Spiritism, both by Allan Kardec. So you have here the ID and the passcode for the Zoom meeting room. Also on Saturdays, we have the online course, the Mediums book, every Saturday, 10:30 UK time. It's coordinated by Charles Kempf, Guilherme Diaz, and myself. You also have here the ID and the passcodes. Please join us. You'll be all welcome. And the Spiritist Society of London also holds online studies of the books Heaven and Hell and the Gospel According to Spiritism, this time on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. London time. The Young People Exploring Spiritism Together, a weekly online meeting. If you want further information, this is a meeting for the young people. And if you want further information, just write to office@buzz.org.uk. You can also get a copy of the Buzz newsletter, quarterly publication. You just write to office@buzz.org.uk and ask for your copy of the newsletter. You also have here the link to the Spiritist magazine. We have the cover of these two issues, and I'm sure you're going to find nice articles there. And here you have the link to the Spiritist magazine. You can also sign up for the Spiritist radar. You have here the instruction how to get there. So, you can sign up and join the Spiritist radar. And also learn more about your immortal being. You have a chatbot here, Chat GPT, especially organized by, it's called Kardec Bots. It's organized by Dr. Vanessa Saloni. So you can have your questions answered regarding Spiritism. And finally, we want to thank Kardec Radio for all the support. So your final word before we go?
I want to say, I'm learning how to forgive, and I'd love to sleep in peace without holding things in my bags, the things that I should every day clean, organize, and say thanks God for that. One lesson more done, etc., and sleep in peace. And I wake up next day and start everything again. Learn more. Thank you so much. A big hug to all. Thank you, Charles, Munir, Silvia, for being here.
Elsa.
Thank you all for all these people here with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Silvia.
you. Bless everyone. Have a good week. And, let's stop and think and forgive when we can. And that's all. Blessings, everyone.
Thank you, Silvia.
Lovely to be
Charles?
here with you.
Charles, your
Yes,
final
sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's not easy. But if it would be easy, we would not need to be here to talk about it. So, okay, let's try to understand better and to build the capability to be able to make the effort to forgive.
Thank you, Charles. Yes, forgiveness is an art. We need to learn and to master it. It requires dedication, and it requires, and it is an exercise that we have to do every day. And slowly, little by little, we'll be able to do that in a very efficient way. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Elsa. Thank you, Silvia. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you, all those
Okay.
who've been here with us. Thanks for your comments, your hello. So, hope to see you next week, next Wednesday, same time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.